So this is my Bedini motor. 8 magnets on the wheel, all north pole facing out. Standard Bedini circuit, 1 transistor, NPN transistor, diode, 150 ohm, 2 watt resistor. Let's see if it'll fucking focus. It's a D2396 transistor. Doesn't really matter, you can use any NPN transistor that's 60 volts or higher. The higher the voltage the better, because then it won't burn out your transistor. It's running off of 12 volts, a 12 volt battery, deep cycle. Battery's almost dead. I know it says charge on it, but that's not the charge battery, it's the run battery. This is the voltage on it while it's running. It's about 12.18. That's on that analog meter, it's not very accurate. This belt that I have connected here is running this other bike wheel over here, and it's running it as a pulley to slow down the rotation, and I'm using it. I have a homemade commutator, and that commutator is, so the Bedini circuit is charging up this capacitor bank, and they're all in parallel, 500 volt DC photogenic capacitors, and I'm discharging the negative side of the capacitors into the battery. Well, I'm discharging the capacitors into this battery over here. It gets discharged once per second. Yeah, there's 4 plates on there, and with the way it rotates, it's about once per second. And this is the battery that's being charged by that capacitor dump circuit. It's a little Super Start battery from fucking Walmart or one of them places. There's the little information on there. It's actually a pretty old battery. I don't know, I think I've had it for a few years, and it didn't work for a while, and now it works again after you do the whole Bedini charging process. But I'll throw that digital meter on the run battery quick so you guys can actually see what it says. So hard to do this one-handed. Yeah, about 12.17. It dropped a little bit. Ah, damn it. But yeah. So, works pretty good. Transistor doesn't get very hot. Stays pretty cool actually. Circuit draws about anywhere from 650 to 900 milliamps, and generally it doesn't fluctuate at all. It's right about 800 milliamps, I would say, 750 to 800 milliamps continuous draw. Like, no matter how much of a mechanical load I put on the Bedini motor, it doesn't draw any more power. I don't got the belt like super tight, because, you know, the looser it is, the easier it is for it to turn. But yeah, works pretty good though. The Bedini motor, it can charge just fine doing it without having to go through the capacitors and making a commutator and all that shit. You can just hook the output of the circuit where that black wire and that white wire are. You can just hook that straight up to a battery and just charge it from there. But that's more of a conditioning process than a charging process. You don't want to charge your batteries that way all the time. But this is the better way to charge batteries once they've been conditioned, is using the capacitor dump circuit. I'll stop this guy quick so you guys can kind of look at the wheel. I have to slow it down a little bit. So I got 8 ceramic bar magnets on there. I just zip tied them all on there, and that holds them on there like rock solid. It's a steel rim, so they also stick to it, but they don't stick that good. And then I took some of this packing tape type stuff and went around it about 3 times, so those magnets aren't going nowhere. I don't have a tachometer, so I don't know how the RPM of the motor, but it spins pretty good with this load hooked up to it. I'd imagine it's got to be at least 300 RPM. And when it has no load on it, if I have a potentiometer on the base with that 150 ohm base resistance, I can adjust it so that it goes faster, but then it doesn't charge as well. But I can actually get this motor going pretty dang quick. But it's all a tuning thing, you know, the size of your coil, magnets, the height away from your coil, all that type of stuff. How tight your bearings are and everything. It's got little ball bearings in there. And it's kind of shitty. I got a piece of all thread for the shaft. It ain't the straightest thing in the world, so it's not the most efficient for the wheel spinning. But it works. It's just kind of an experiment to see if this was all worthwhile doing. And from what I've gathered, it definitely is worthwhile. It doesn't cost very much to build one of these, and it doesn't really take that much time if you know what you're doing. But yeah, that's my setup. Thanks for watching, guys.